Godly here, because the way I've been watching Zyder today, Zyder is playing a completely new player, realizing what's on the line going into MSI and his trajectory as a pro player in Europe. He's really trying to get this top 3 side on winners in a way that I really have never seen him play before. So I'm excited to see how this goes up against Godly, because this is the test right now. We just gave so much praise to Godly, it's kind of hard not to. You take down this player, and you might as well have EU in your pocket at that point.
Exactly, and this is where a lot of Zyder's been able to make his money on. Here on Demons and controlling the side of the stage, he starts off the set early with a lot of signature play, which we almost saw a side stick come through and get a quick stock for Godly, but he puts the fear into them to feel like they can't move safely from the ledge, and then he approaches as the set goes on. Godly is not one you could trick with that too many times, so I'm curious to see how Zyder approaches it.
So far he hasn't tricked Godly with that once. The first side stick that he goes for, he gets sidelight nair ducked off the bottom right side of the stage, and Zyder's down in under a minute. Now looking for a spear coming in, picks that up, but Godly with the gauntlet so far is looking great as that downlight punished right away with a neutral A, and another ground pound coming out from the sidelight nair. Zyder getting caught by so many of these gauntlet nairs after sidelight.
Yeah, you have to be careful with how many times you try to go for that big push, because he keeps trying to catch the jump in with the D-light, and Godly's just waiting it out, because he knows he has a lead. There's no reason to approach him in that position. He has it. He's going to get better whiff punishes off the gauntlets if he just lets him pull the trigger, but now the scythe coming, actually it was
it happened again. It's like, as you're talking about it, Zyder's like, why aren't you jumping? And Godly's just standing up the gauntlets. And he's
I gotta move. Hey, you swing first. All right,
well,
there we go.
and I guess the thing that's smart about that for Godly too, when against Spear, is that if Spear opens up the sidelight as opposed to downlight, a lot easier to react to.
Yeah.
So staying on that ground game gives Godly all the advantages he looks for. But that recovery from Zyder catches Godly using that recover, trying to get on the top of the stage, and that evens up the stocks.
Yeah, it took a while to get there. It seems like Zyder feeling more comfortable right now on the spear, trying to get the combo game going. Gets it with Zyder nairs, pushing him back to stage. One quick string can get him back into this game, but he's going to get naired. He's going to get caught. I spoke too soon.
One quick string is going to get Zyder off the top of the stage.
Yes, true. Yeah.
two sidelights in a recovery.
It's still game, just on a different user.
Yeah. Zyder, let's see. I want to see what happens with the spear here, because once I've seen like a similar punish happen 2-3 times in a game, that's where I'm wondering, okay, if it's starting to bother me, has it bothered you enough to make those adjustments yet? Are we going to see the spear downlight still? Because Godly, oh man, he spot dodges the wake up side air, gets the falling nair onto Zyder, and even more damage is coming out through Godly in this game number 1. And Zyder, he still hasn't got any of those hits to connect. Downlight hits, but the chase dodge pivot, sidelight doesn't connect, and Godly with the nair gravity cancel neutral light will bring Zyder into red.
He has such a large lead right now too that he can afford to play the trade game. He can be right next to Zyder, let him try to go for something and get a combo started, but now the recovery's coming through, Zyder just trying to find some ground. He's gonna wait, goes for sidelight, waits for the dodge down, but actually doesn't do anything as a reaction, and he doesn't get an opportunity to do that again, because Godly gonna go ahead and take the first game.
Yo, with reaction skill like Godly has there, like when a gauntlet sidelight hits, I'm used to being like, it's not true. It's one frame. Sometimes the player has to guess where the other person's going. Dude, Godly's just like watching what Zyder's doing and following him until the dodge is gone, hits the next sideline of the recovery. That is just so hard to fight. Ajax, Zyder's having some difficulty here. And the side sticks from the Lance that you were talking about that he likes to go for, all of them led to him literally losing a star.
Yeah, that takes away a big win condition that he was trying to do to get people to get fearful later, but 566 to 343. Complete dominance on the side of Godly.
The damage you're talking about,
most of that came from the gauntlet, so we barely got to see the scythe. Now Godly is going to stay with the scythe the majority of the time, because Zyder hasn't been able to adjust to that yet. He was getting mixed by the gauntlet the whole time.
Interesting. Well, he had the scythe for a little bit, and then he decided, maybe I want to go back to the gauntlets for this.
Maybe I was reaching too hard. It's just, it ain't broke. It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well,
Keep it going.
I think whatever the case is, you're right, right? Because it's one of those cases where it's like, well, if the gauntlets are continuing to dominate a spear, like right now, here with scythe versus spear, Godly doesn't have as great of a time. Okay, never mind. Well, that wake up neutral light was amazing. There's a lot closer to this game 1. The neutral light hits.
Okay.
He dunks Godly just into the brink of red. I mean, I swear Godly was orange before that signature hit.
Yeah, he uses that's what we were talking about before. He uses that so often. It covers a lot of range when it comes to Black Knight, so you want to make sure you control the sides, but you can't do it too often. Like you said, Godly will always whip punish you for that if you give him the chance.
Yeah, really good call out there. That's the second time that I've seen Zyder catch Godly recovering high on Demon Island. The first time was with the unarmed recovery in the other game, and I guess that was actually the only other stock.
Yeah, that was the only other stock that got taken.
so fresh in my mind there. Zyder now evened up as Godly evens up these stocks, and not too much damage is coming through.
I will say Zyder's done a much better job in not overextending in neutral. He's not trying to like force something now. It looks like he's actually trying to play more patient and let Godly try to swing first, because we're at a dead even game now. This position last game was Godly with a near 2-stock lead that led to one immediately after that. So Zyder's patience has definitely kicked up.
I wonder how Godly's going to adjust to what Zyder's doing now. Godly has been doing a lot of sidelights in neutral, hitting it, and then waiting to see how Zyder's going to get back to the stage. I'm now noticing Zyder is jumping straight out of these things just to get out of there. And Godly could chase after it, but how so? Like, I'm wondering how this is going to change. He goes to the scythe, nice neutral into neutral signature.
I just realized, I think that was like the first sidelight into Nair we've seen all set. That's insane, because the fear that Godly puts into you, for one, being so dominant of late, but two, trying to find an opening period, the fact that Zyder has to give him that much respect before he pulls the trigger does let Godly eventually figure out his tempo he's trying to shift to. He was very aggressive game one. He's gone passive now. Godly's answered right back. It's close, but Godly's still not giving him that chance he wants.
Nice recovery. Zyder has to use that dodge early. Can he make it back? Godly misses the downlight off stage. Zyder makes it back, gets a lance, has a spear primed, and the neutral sig reads the spot dodge from Godly. Weapon throw forward, now starving him, trying to get that landing. If Godly fastfalled, I think that down sig is right.
Yeah, Spear D-Sig was really close to connecting right there, but that is not going to be enough. Can he get the chase? Goes to the weapon toss, just misses out. Godly's going to get to the wall touch, and he gets the arm recovery last second.
Oh, the side air on the weapon pickup. Godly goes for the gauntlet recovery. Spot dodge is the weapon throw. Both players now on the verge of being knocked out here on the second stock. Zyder dodges the weapon throw, puts up the down sig. Godly doesn't go forward, and Zyder's like, maybe you'll go in this time, but Godly doesn't give it to him, waiting for that weapon to come through before he makes a decision, and finally a spawn in his favor, but he doesn't get it.
He just keeps missing out. Oh, he doesn't capitalize, and then the punish attempt on the spear recovery doesn't connect either. That's going to take the stock.
Was an awesome interaction of something that I mentioned earlier, where Zyder was constantly jumping out of sidelights. Godly was like, are you going to keep jumping?
You keep doing it?
He went for the immediate recovery, and Zyder's like, nah, not this time.
Not this time.
Even though the stock went away, I'm loving this interaction between these two players, but oh, Godly. After that, so close to a second stock, is he going to end it here? That down stick came so close, Ajax.
He wanted to keep that going too, but he realized he was out of position, could have capitalized. But Godly, okay, that time Zyder going downward, not going up. Good call on his part, but he's going to get away. Still not enough, and this is kind of what happened last time. Even though it was so close, Zyder kept it so close for so long. Zyder finally takes it, but he took so much damage to get to that point.
Yeah. Whoever got that second stock there really decided the momentum going into this, because Godly just ran away with it. Sidelight neutral sig. Oh, he went for the side sig. I thought it was down sig. It would have hit for sure. I thought he was going for it. Zyder goes for another sidelight. That time, I think Godly would have gotten hit by sidelight neutral sig again. He dodged straight down.
I think this is where he's pulling out all the bag of tricks type play. Like, let me get unorthodox. Let me start going for the big sig plays. All right, that's 4 times now he's gone for sidelight, and that hasn't gone for D-light follow-up, but he's going to get caught by the weapon toss on the way down. Godly keeping it simple, not going down there trying to get caught for it.
It's such a tough call to make when you are literally a gauntlet sider away from getting knocked out to not keep going for sidelight neutral sig. It was so cool to see, and I was like, I'm pretty sure Godly would have gotten hit by that every single time you hit a sidelight, but you can't be that crazy, right?
I feel like at that point he was almost trying to condition Godly into doing it so often that he could get the punish for it, but it didn't work out. Now, one thing we are seeing a switch here from Zyder, though, is over to the Hattori. So removing the lance out of the way, it hasn't really done a lot for him in the way that we were seeing it for the other ones.
Well, you mentioned a great point. We heard one sidelight Nair connect.
That is your win con.
That's a pretty good indicator that the lance isn't actually doing much for you, right? And that towards the end, the spear got a lot better once he realized, wait a second, Godly's playing he's playing so grounded.
I lied. It was Hattori. Hattori was being hovered over.
It was Hattori.
I promise you Hattori was there. But then he waited. It's like, wait, no, I'm not switching.
Okay. So I guess but back to the point I was saying before. The Zyder, game 1, downlights galore, punished for every single one of them. Game 2, a lot closer, many more sidelights were used, and they were all connecting, and Godly was having trouble getting a punish off of it. Let's see what happens going into Game 3 here, where Godly is up 2-0. Zyder has the near insurmountable task of reverse 3-0 Godly, but hey, look at that! D-line to neutral signature. Oh, he misses the ground pound there, but he's been hitting a lot of those Black Knight neutral signatures onto Godly.
So it's only going to probably work for a stock to 2, right? But Zyder is now doing what we expected from that last game, where he was going to finally start doing something after sidelight. Now he's actually going for sidelight D-lights and getting his combos going. Now you got to be careful with how often you do it. It worked a few times. Godly's not going to fall for that all the time. You have to save that read you were going for last time to get those big D-Sig plays.
Ooh, yeah, and you saw he went for 2 of those there. Godly jumped over both of them. That's the 3rd one that he's jumped over.
Okay, don't start reaching now. That's 4.
Zyder, it's not. Godly just get
4 for 4. He's going to go for the $5 biggie bag. You got to get back to the weapon in the first place.
He misses the ground pound. Gets back to the stage, tries to get the recovery off the top of the stage. Now Zyder is on the lance, and Downsig isn't quite as an all-purpose tool here. Has to get back onto the stage here, goes for the recovery in the opposite direction, repositions, falls with Nair. Nice deal that recovery. Godly so good at punching the lance. Man, Ajax, we were literally counting the amount of D6 that Godly just floated right above before he fell in with the punish, whether it was neutral light or Sair.
That's just an incredible statement to his defense. Like, just getting around those every time. I mean, some of them definitely were, please get hit by this, but... Yeah. There was a couple times where it was just out of position, and Godly now knows that because you're doing that, he can bait you into going for those big plays later, or you're going to be fearful for going that, so he's not going to be as scared of you trying to get that big play. Never mind, Zyder's still feeling good about the idea.
Whoa, Godly is adapting to Zyder's playstyle in such an awesome way. He's floating right above, like, how do I say this? Okay, Godly goes down there. It's like that height that's not quite a short hop, but not quite, it's not quite a dash jump, but it's also not quite on the stage.
It's in that spot that makes you want to react. Because you're so close, it's like, here, press a button.
But he never touches. He never touches. He's floating right around there, and then he jumps. So a lot of Zyders, either their side lights or down sigs, they end up whiffing, and then Godly gets a lot of punishes, and we're seeing him even evolve that area that he's standing in with a lot of gravity cancel downlights on arms.
And look at how often Godly is now dodged in towards the side lights. Like, well, you thought that those were going to connect before. You were waiting for me to dodge a bunch in that last game. Now I'm doing it, and you're doing nothing about it. This is all mental damage for Zyder to try and get something started, and he hasn't really been able to find it. Look
at that. Godly hovering right in that area, right above Zyder's side light, gets up the down air. That time, we've seen that punish a million times today. Just fades back from the spear down light, hits it with the gauntlet neutral light. Side air catches Zyder on the way back to the stage, and now Zyder, potentially on his last stock of the set. Has to take down 2 from Godly to stay in it.
Yeah, and you're talking about that punish always being in that position. Godly constantly goes about a character length to 2 away from the ledge, so he stays right out of Sair. Actually, Godly just having a field day now, starting to get a bunch of combos started. Keeps punishing him for the approach. He keeps standing at the same spot. He stays right out of range for the Zyder to actually hit. And Zyder hasn't got a single hit in like the past 10 interactions. This is getting real bad.
Oh yeah, down air comes through. Zyder just narrowly avoids the gravity cancel side light for the down single dunk, and that's a 2 stock for Godly. What an awesome set coming out from Godly. And you know that statement you said about the Scythe in game 2? Definitely jumped the gun there. It was game 3 where that happened.
Yeah.
Right? The Scythe came out of game 3 and it's like, you've been fighting my gauntlets all day. You haven't even seen this weapon. Zyder just loses that stock in a heartbeat.
Yeah, mental damage comes in as the set progresses. You're trying to find an answer to what was already a problem weapon, and then you get doubled up on the damage essentially here. 642